Everybody, Joe Lignor here with your tip clip of the week. Now, this week's tip comes directly from the mouths of babes. I asked a girl to come back to my desk because I wanted to tell her what a great job she did on an assignment, and I was complimenting her on how she always does a great job, always turn things in that are top shelf, first rate. And I said, is there like a secret? Is there a magic potion that you drink? And she said, well, yeah, she was hemming and hawing, and she finally said, I may not be the smartest in the room. I try to be the most organized in the room. And as soon as she said that, I began to think of the Navy commander that gave the speech at commencement. And he talked about making the bed. Let me read that to you. It was Admiral William McRaven, and it was his commencement address. And he started the whole address with, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. The completion of this simple task will give you a sense of pride and make you want to do another task and another and another. At the end of the day, you'll look back and see all of your success that day started with the simple task of making your bed. And as soon as she said being organized, that's really the start of the day for students when they come in. When they come into my room, they go right to their desk and they begin by taking things out that they're going to need, putting things away from their bag that they're not going to need, and then having everything packed and ready to go for when the bell rings, they go right to class. When you're organized, that's a really simple task. Important, but simple if you're organized. If you're not organized, if their desk is not organized, they spend time rooting through trash, misfiled books, other books that are squished and pushed behind another book. They can't find something. Or their bag. If their bag looks like a trash sack, there's papers shoved in there that really need to be thrown away. There's books shoved in there that they don't need. They're not ready to go. So when it's time, that bell rings. The ones that are organized, the little girl that was talking to me, she's up and gone. She's at the next class. She's ready for the lesson to start. Other people, not so much. They're still trying to load and pretty soon they just end up shoving everything in the bag, which just makes the bag even worse and heavier. And they get to class and they start rooting through the bag looking for, and then they, even throwing all that stuff in the bag, they still don't have what they need. They're missing something. And they don't have much success. So as soon as she told me that, I started walking around the room. And every successful student that I have, I looked at their desk. And every desk was like a photocopy of the one before it. Every book neatly stacked, copybooks on one side, textbooks on the other. All of them had written on the end, whether they were math, writing, reading, social studies, Spanish. They're all listed. All the workbooks on the other side. Many of them had pencil cases on the front, and all of these kids are successful in the class. They're the ones that bounce right up out of their desk, line up, and they're off. They're gone. As soon as that bell rings, they're ready. They're down the hall, off to their next class. And then the same people every day that aren't organized, they're running out at the last minute. By the time they get next class, and get situated, they've already missed the first 3 minutes of a lesson. There's like a gap now in what was said at the beginning of class. And they're looking around, trying to figure out what's going on. What should they have? What book do they need? Oh, we're doing an IXL. Which IXL? All that was said while they weren't there. So really, successes at school begin with an organized desk, with an organized bag. Because when those two things are organized, then your time is organized. You have no wasted time. And then you get to use that time for yourself. Doing, preparing, doing better. And it all comes back and spells success for you. Being organized. I can't stress enough how important that is for every student in every grade. Guys, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please reach out to me, jlignor at standrewschool.com. jlignor at standrewschool.com. If you want to see what your son or daughter's desk looks like, ask the teacher to take a picture of the desk and send it to you in an email. If the desk is organized, labeled, you can bet that student really does well in class. If it's not, messy, unorganized, full of trash, they're not doing well. They probably have the capability to do well, but they just can't get out of their own way. They need to get organized. Ask them, send me a picture, please. And they'd be happy to do it. Guys, see you. Have a great week. Peace, love, Bobby Sherman.